Let us welcome Ms. Andy Cunningham, founder and CEO, Cunningham Collections USA, also marketing guru who launched the first Apple Macintosh with Steve Jobs and author of the Get to Aha. Welcoming Ms. Andy online.
Thank you very much. And hello, good morning, Malaysia. It's so
Good
great
morning.
to be here. I am speaking to you here from sunny California. And I'm just going to take a few minutes to talk a little bit about positioning, which is the expertise that I have, and how that relates and will relate to Malaysia's talent opportunity. So let's go. So first, I just want to say that my whole life has been about positioning. Positioning is the epicenter of great marketing. It's actually the whole art and science of positioning your company for success in a market. And I wrote a book about it, and the book is called Get to Aha. And it tells you actually how to do this for yourself. So I hope that a lot of our Malaysian startups will take a look at the book and figure out how to do this positioning. But this is the key to my life. So let me just tell you one more thing about what positioning is, and then we'll get into a couple of other things. Positioning is the other side of branding. Everybody's heard about branding. It's one of the most often used, frequently used words in the marketing lexicon. And branding is the emotional side of a company's identity. But the rational side of a company's identity is what we call positioning. It's the expression of a company's strategy in very plain language. And if you don't understand what that is, if you can't get that right, you're likely to miss out on a bigger branding opportunity. So we're big believers in doing the rational side of what your identity is and then matching it up with the emotional side. So that's really what positioning is all about. And the thing is, it turns out that positioning is everything when it comes to marketing. I've spent my career working with all these companies that are listed on this slide and many, many more, and helping them build their brands and helping them increase their valuations. And it all started with positioning. Back in the 90s, when the internet was first starting to emerge, I worked with Cisco to completely increase their valuation to an enormous, by billions with positioning. We created something we called the internet economy, and we positioned Cisco at the core of that. And it raised their valuation by billions. More recently, we did the BlackBerry turnaround. You might remember BlackBerry as the dying smartphone manufacturer. Well, today they are an enterprise software security company, and we helped John Chen, their CEO, do that turnaround and reposition the company around a concept we call the enterprise of things. And we continue to work with companies to increase their value, whether they happen to be a small startup like Skyhive, which is doing something brand new that we're calling humanomics, or whether it's a really large company like Oracle or SAP or Xerox. But positioning is what creates value. Now, it was mentioned that I have done a lot of work with Steve Jobs on the launch of the Macintosh, and I did. And this is a photo of Steve at his home in Woodside, California, right before that Macintosh launch in January of 1984. And the reason that I put this up here is not only because Steve and I worked together for several years, but mostly because there were a lot of mistakes made with launching the Macintosh, which is really what got Steve Jobs fired from Apple in the first place. And the lesson of those mistakes was really around positioning. Steve was insistent upon positioning the Macintosh as a business computer to replace the IBM PC. And as it turns out, the product didn't have enough features in order to make that replacement for the PC. So it started to fail in the marketplace. Even though the launch was incredibly successful, the actual product started to fail. And it got to a point where it was causing the company to lose a lot of money, and that's when Steve got fired from Apple. He then spent the next several years working on other things like Next and Pixar, which I did launch for him as well. But most importantly, he figured out what he did wrong at Apple. And when he came back to Apple, he repositioned the Macintosh for a cult of people who wanted to be different, to think different. And that's how he ended up making it a success. So that was that was my Steve Jobs story. So he's a great inspiration to me for many reasons, but mostly because he made a mistake and he figured out how to fix it. And I think that's the key to great success. Now I want to talk a little bit about the tech industry and what's going on there and why it's so important that talent be brought in from all over the world. First of all, we have a more than $5 trillion industry here that we're dealing with. There are more than 22 billion devices connected to the internet today. There are 140,000 California tech jobs just in California alone, posted just in Q2 of 2020 alone, 140,000. And finally, AI, artificial intelligence, is projected to add $15.7 trillion to the global economy by 2030. We are talking about a burgeoning market that's going to have to need a lot of talent. Tech needs talent in order to proceed. And places like Malaysia and organizations and efforts like Beyond4 are exactly what the world needs to bring this kind of talent to the amazing innovations that are going to continue to change the world as we all move forward. So what I want to tell you is that we and I can help position Malaysian talent to win in this new world, and I would love to work with you in order to do that because there's so much talent there. I want to just say a little bit about that talent. Subu, who just spoke before me, introduced me to Beyond4 as a team that was geared to help with the development of our new marketing software product, Posmo, that is automating my positioning methodology that is in my book. We were so impressed with the drive, the talent, the ingenuity, the creativity, and basically the speed with which that team was able to operate. And our CEO, who is also my son, Cormac Siegfried, is going to tell you a lot more about Posmo later and our magnificent Malaysian team that we were able to work with. And now what I'm going to do is turn the program back over to probably to KK. So thank you very much, Malaysia. It was wonderful to work with you and wonderful to be here.